Hi Katie, my name is Lungiswa. Can you please help me with this investigation about effect of plant hormones on growth?
So let's do this. Okay, and where are my glasses? Here we go. Lungiswe, we've got Lesejo is a learner in grade 12, and she's investigating the effect of plant hormones on growth. So that is what we're doing. The following method was used. So let's have a look at her scientific method. She uses 2 shoots, and she labels them A and B. She cuts the tip of shoot A, so the tip is cut off, and she cuts the tip off the shoot B, but she puts it back again. Now, once she puts it back again, you're going to have the plant hormones moving up and down. Even if you've cut it, they're still there. All right. She leaves the apparatus for a few days, so she leaves it to grow. And after a few days, she observes the results of shoot A and B as drawn in the diagram below. So let's have a look at our diagram. Okay. At the start of the investigation, she cuts that tip and throws it away. And after a few days, look at how this thing has grown. It hasn't. There's no growth there. If we look here at the start of the investigation, there's our little shoot tip, and she cuts it off, and then she puts it back. And look, it carries on growing. All right, so let's have a look at our first question. Identify the independent variable. All right, so looking at our experiment here, what would the independent variable be? Remember, it's what the investigator has decided. So it being what the investigator is deciding, what the investigator is going to sort out and choose and decides on, it would be the presence of the shoot tip with plant hormones. That plant hormone, by the way, is Auxins. So it's the presence of the shoot tip with plant hormones, because look here. What does she decide? She takes that shoot tip and she cuts it off. So what is she checking? She's checking the presence there of the plant shoot tip and what it does and whether they're plant hormones. And if we go down, what is the dependent variable? Well, easy. That's going to be the results. So it's going to be the growth of the shoot. Now, what I want to do here is I want to take this all the way down, and I want to go through something with you guys. We have many learners that ask us, please help us with this dependent and independent variable thing. Because you've got to know, in paper 1 and in paper 2, you are going to get an investigation of some sort. And that investigation is going to ask you, what is the dependent variable? What is the independent variable? How do you make the investigation reliable? How do you check that the investigation is, that it works? So, is it scientifically correct? They're going to ask you. So I want to show you how to do this. It's easy, easy peasy. If you focus now, you'll never ever have to worry about it. So let's do this. I'm going to do a table, just getting my glasses here, and we're going to do this. We're going to draw a line here, like that. Here we're going to write the independent variable. And here we have the dependent variable. Okay, now, if we look at the independent variable, it is you who controls it. Okay, you as the investigator, as the person doing the experiment, you control this. Okay, so you are going to manipulate, okay, or deliberately change something. Now, what was deliberately changed in our experiment here? The Lesejo deliberately cut the shoot tip off the one plant and threw it away, and she deliberately cut the shoot tip off the second plant, plant B, and she put it back. So That is, she has controlled that. That's why it's the independent variable. So you control this as the investigator. You manipulate or deliberately change the variable. Okay, it is the focus of the investigation. So what are we focusing on in this specific one? We're focusing on the shoot tip that contains a plant hormone. All right, so it is the focus. It is what is manipulated or deliberately changed. And you as the investigator, you decide. You don't decide on the results, do you, people? You don't decide on the results. The results are what comes as what you see after doing ABC. So you can't control the results, but you, as the investigator, or the investigator in the question, is going to control what they decide to focus on, what they decide to deliberately change or manipulate. So let's see. Now, furthermore, if you look at your independent variable, you're going to have, for example, you're looking at, and this is generalizing, but you have time, you'll have temperature, you'll have volume, distance, and this is for any subject, hey? Distance, you'll have light intensity, intensity, I never know whether it's a C or an S, I hope that's right, intensity, and remember, always add the units, whatever those units are. You've got to put the units. So for time, you can either just put time, or you're going to put years, or you're going to put months, or you're going to put seconds or minutes. If you put volume, you're going to put milliliters or parts per milliliter. So always do that. You've always got to put your units in. And let's just make this go. I didn't want to do this, and then if we carry on with the independent, it is going to be always plotted on the x-axis. Okay, so it's as easy as that. Right, now, if we go up, your dependent variable depends on the results. So, results are the. Now, please look at this mnemonic. A mnemonic is a fun word. It doesn't even have to be a word. It's a whole bunch of letters that you put together, where you take the first letter of a word you're trying to remember, and then you remember all the first letters. Okay, so that's a mnemonic. So here's your mnemonic, and your mnemonic is D-R-O-M-Y. Okay, so what do they stand for? The D is for the dependent or responding. So there's your R, your D. Responding, dependent or responding variable, okay, and it is observed or measured for the M, and always plotted on the y-axis. Okay? Now, remember, if it is observed, okay, it's quantitative. So, qualitative. It's the quality of what you were seeing, and you're going to use your senses to look at it. So in this case, our shoot would be qualitative, because we are observing the result and we're seeing the one shoot doesn't grow and the other shoot does grow. But if it is measured, then it is quantitative. It's the quantity. So it's going to have numbers. So that, if you remember this, people, you are not ever going to mess it up. You can't. And also your dependent variable is it's the data that is in a table of some sort, okay, or observed okay, and then plot it onto a graph. And if you can remember that, you're never going to mess it up. So let's look back at our question, because we're now running out of time at a huge rapid rate. Discuss the reason for the results observed in the investigation. Okay, I'm not going to write this out. I'm going to go through it with you here. So let's do this first. We say the shoot tip, okay, that shoot tip contains plant hormones called auxins. Okay, what do auxins do? Auxins stimulate cell division and cell differentiation. Cell elongation. All right, and by doing that, the result will be growth. Here, the shoot tip is cut off, so there are no auxins. Therefore, there is no growth. And that is that question there. Now we're running out of time at a rapid rate of knots here, so I'm going to quickly go through this. And it suggests, how would she improve her reliability? Remember, reliability always relates to the results. And your most important way, RE, to improve your results is going to be to repeat the investigation many times. Or you could just use a lot of increase your sample size and then do an average. So remember, if it's reliability, RE for reliability, RE for results, RE for repeat.